So this is a great table for 4 people. It is 48-inch round. Sometimes if you have a small extension that you add to the end of your table, it doesn't add a lot of room. You'll still be able to sit 4 people nicely, but you won't have as much room for plates. But it makes passing across much easier. And also eating meals family style much harder. This is a chair. Chairs are where people sit, they go around a table. Today we won't be talking about chairs. We're talking about the people who sit in them and the tables that they go around. More specifically, how many people can fit around a table, and even more specifically for today, what size table is great for 4 people. There are a lot of things that go into how many people can sit at a table comfortably. The size of the table obviously matters a lot, but the shape of the table is important. If there are extensions matters. How you plan to sit at the table, like benches or chairs, makes a difference. What you're planning to do with the table, even the base, and actually the height of the table can matter too. So there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm gonna make videos on a lot of these topics individually with more specificity, because you can do a deep dive on lots of stuff, and I didn't want to make a 4-hour video. But those videos may or may not exist yet. If they do, go check the description, and you can watch them right now. But if they don't, you might want to subscribe, and we can keep learning together. So what size table do I need? One of the most important things at a dining table is room for dinner. So place settings need 18 to 24 inches typically, and then people usually want 24 to 30 because we're usually a little wider than our place settings. You can squeeze a little tighter if you've got a family gathering or a big party and you need to. But usually that's kind of what's most comfortable. If you're playing a game, you might need a little bit less room because at the table. You also need to have enough room on the table for all of your stuff. So the place setting needs 18 inches. If you're playing a game, you might only need a little bit less if you've just got like a hand of cards. But if you're having an intricate 6-course dinner, you might need more space at the table for all of your plates. An important thing to know there is you can't double count the corners. If you've got somebody using the space from this side, they can't use the exact same space from the end. Plates can only go in one spot. So what shape should your table be? This is something that I'm sure I'll do many videos about, but for the sake of seating people, basically the rounder your table is, the fewer people will be able to sit at it, and the squarer the table is, the more people will be able to sit at it. Round tables do odd numbers better though. The base can also have an impact on how people can sit at the table. A base like this could be great for a desk, but it does block off some of the table, meaning it's really hard to sit there from the end because the base gets in the way. However, another base that perhaps lets you move your legs through from the end with some space and the legs tucked in just a little further makes it easier to sit the chair wherever you need. So extensions are obviously something that you add because you want more space at the table, which is great, and they do that. The one thing to be aware of is that sometimes if you have a small extension that you add to the end of your table, it doesn't add a lot of room for an extra chair, and sometimes it doesn't end up adding any extra space, again, depending some on what exactly the base that you have is and how the chairs interact with the base. Small leaves sometimes don't end up adding room for another chair. So you might need a bigger leaf. Sometimes you need a bigger extension to be able to have a chair comfortably sit here on the side on the extension and still have room on the end. So to add the 2 seats that you're hoping for, sometimes you need a bigger leaf. We'll get into all of that detail in another video. But for the time being, I've got 3 friends, and I want to see how these play out in real life with real people, and specifically with 4 people, what size tables are nice. So let's go check that out. So this is a great table for 4 people. It is a 48-inch round, which makes it really nice for 4 people to sit at, and you've got nice room that you can still pass across the table, this is about as big as you'd want to go. I'm a little bit tall, so I can reach across, but for some people, a slightly smaller table would be nice, just to be able to pass across more comfortably. That table gives you a lot of room on it for plates. You got a lot of space to work with, so you can have a larger place setting. To go to a smaller table, like say a 36-inch wide round instead of a 48-inch wide round, you'll still be able to sit 4 people nicely, but you won't have as much room for plates. But it makes passing across much easier. And also eating meals family style much harder. That's one of the things that you really notice with a round table more than a circle table, is that you run out of room on the table for stuff much quicker. We've got plenty of room around the table out here because we're outside of the circle. But in the circle, it gets a little bit tight really quickly. Hey, sorry, just gonna stop this here for one quick second. I was just watching this and I wanna add something to that. I think that wasn't everything I wanted to say. Let me just pull up the top angle for a minute. So this is a little table here, which is great, but it means that the plates are kind of squished together right here and right here. They're not very far apart. They're all in this little circle in the middle, but the people are further apart because they're on the outside. So they've got a lot more room between them because they're on a much bigger circle. As you get further away, it just gets a lot bigger. The little one is only 90 inches around, and the bigger circle here is 165 inches, which is just a lot more room for the people to be than the actual stuff on the table is. Let's just erase this. So that's what I mean when you say you run out of room on the tabletop a lot quicker than you do on the outside of the table. Like the people have space around them because they're on a much bigger circle than the plates are. So the other thing is about family style. Like you've got room for both of your plates. So in the middle there, do you have room for this bowl? No. No. The bowl is just it doesn't fit. So you can't really serve a meal family style. So that's just kind of not an option here. You do end up with a similar sort of thing on a square, but on a square here, you do have some room in the corners. So all of your corners have a little bit of space there without any plates. So you can move your dishes sometimes, just whoop out to the end there, and then you do have a little bit of space for it somewhere. Anyways, I don't know. I think that's it. Back to it, I guess. I don't know. Squares do the same sort of a thing. Just because they're a shape where the sides are all the same length, you have more room on the outside of the table, especially on smaller ones. So you're gonna notice this on tables, particularly up to 48 inches. You have room for 2 chairs on the sides, but you have a little bit less room for as many plates. But that's not such a big deal if you're playing cards. For playing a game like cards or any other kind of a game, really, you have plenty of room because you don't really need a plate here, which is excellent. This is a square which has 4 sides that are all the same size, and we have 4 people. So it's much nicer to just have the 4 of us sit one person at each side. It's also great for a game like cards in particular because then no one can see your hand. Uno. An extension table is a great way to add some seats. They can, different ones work different ways, but basically the hope is always the same. You just want to take a table that seats a certain number of people and add some. It's great for flexibility when you sometimes need more people than you do at other times. So this table, it's the same one we had earlier. It works fantastic for 4 people. We already knew that, but it can also extend. This table, for example, sat 4 really nicely before, but now we've 2 more friends and we can seat 6. That's right, I made 2 more friends, just like that. It's easier than people think. But that's basically the whole idea behind an extension table. A little bit more space on the table gives you a little bit more room for more people at the table. It's a wonderful option, and this is an excellent one. They work well round, square, rectangular, racetrack, whatever shape you need. So there are a bunch of things that go into how many people can sit at a table, and it's worth covering all of them. This is a bit of an overview, so it's a little bit quick, a little bit brief, but depends on a lot of stuff. Getting the right size is important. Having different shapes will matter, and extensions are always a great option if you're trying to add a little bit of space. The other stuff, we talked about a bunch of it. If there are questions that you still have, leave a comment, let me know. I'll make sure that it gets into the full videos that we do on each of these ideas on their own. And also, if you want, just reach out. We're happy to chat. This is actually what we do. We're a business that makes custom dining tables. So we're really good at making sure that they are exactly what you need. So if you've got any questions, let us know and we'll figure it out together.
Josh, it's your turn.
Okay. It's my turn, I gotta go. Sorry about that. I'm going to get a bird card.